Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Akakwadash, and I want to say Shalom to Akim Nakwat out there, pursuing this truth diligently, coming at you once again with another lesson. And this one, about some information I found quite interesting. A lot of lies and secretism around it. Now, as you know, they, not too recently now, I guess it's still recently, they were released and are still currently releasing data sets of the Stein files, all right, or the Steen files. And I'm just going to shorten that to that because who knows how they're tracking the algorithm or whatever. So the Steen files, right? And heavily redacted, right? Still surprised that they're out at all. But heavily redacted. So still, most of the information out there is going to be, because I remember I said one time, I said those files are either never coming out, or when they come out, they're going to be so changed that they're going to be pretty much useless. And I mean, they're not fully useless, but all the names, I mean, if you don't have the name, what's the point? You can redact certain content, but they don't want you to know any of the people. All right, and that's the big thing that people were worried about, was figuring out who the people were. And some people have been deduced out of it, but they're not going to just blatantly give you names, right? They're trying to cover it up over and over and over again. But needless to say, I was still surprised that they even released any amount of it at all. But of course, they're trying to make it to where none of that really comes back on higher up people. Okay, they want to make sure that's all redacted. Right now, it's just, smaller people for the most part. But right here, this was interesting to me. Because, as you know, a lot of the brothers have talked about it. There's a lot of weird stuff going on with the Stein man, all right? The Steen man, all right? Jeffy Steen, as we'll refer to him. And there were so many different things when it was happening, and a lot of it just didn't make sense. It didn't add up. And then there was all that information a year or so back about the missing minutes off of the cell footage, and then just more and more and more stuff, man. That just kept adding up, and just once you have something that starts adding up, the stink just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Something was off. Okay, now. Cut to February 2026, as we're in now. And we got even stronger shit that's weird, man. It's being revealed through these files. This one was especially interesting to me. So, it said, it's from this lady, Exo Marceline. It says, imagine if we all found out that Stein was alive because of a Fortnite account. And for those brothers that don't know, Fortnite is a online video game. Right, a shooter, a video game. It says, what in the simulation is going on? We're not in a simulation. I hate when people say that. It says, yes, I know this is a ridiculous notion, but what even is real life anymore? At least you realize that was a ridiculous notion to say. All right, what is real life? We're in a simulation. Nah, real life just sucks, buddy. And it shows you from this person, Mr. Orange 4200, says Epi's Fortnite account active and in Israel. It was active in Israel. And you see that people are viewing it. And it was. And I went and looked and I went and checked. It said Stein just private his account. I have screenshots of the stats confirming he is alive. And, after people found out about it, went private. All right. Interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, now, if you go to the honeypot, all right, that is the DOJ, all right, and people are like, watch out, it's a honeypot. You go there and they're tracking you. Of course, they're tracking you on everything. They're going to track you on everything, man, all right? But, of course, they're going to put trackers on you and on your computer. These are the same. Welcome to the club, all right? They've already been doing that to us Hebrew Israelites for years, all right? They've already been doing that, so we're not worried about being added to another list. Any list that exists, we're probably on it. Right, they're waiting for us. Oh, put them on that one on the watchful list. Put that one on the roundup list. That one on the going into prison. That one on the guillotine list. All right, a whole host of lists. All right, but this one is to someone from someone. Again, how they blank everything out. It says alert the 25, and it said subject alert the $25 charge was for V-Bucks on Fortnite. He says the $25 charge was for V-Bucks on Fortnite, and V-Bucks is a virtual currency that you use to buy like costumes or skins, as they call them, for your character and different little items for your guy. I've never been a big fan of the game. I played it, but I was never big on it. But yeah, man, and so it shows you there was that, and then on top of that, all right, that shows you here to Littlest Jeff 1, all right, YouTube receipt. It says Littlest Jeff 1, and mind you, let me go back. That was his account name. As it was, if in case you were just listening, you'll get. But I would recommend watching this one and actually looking at this to show you. But his username was Littlest Jeff 1. Okay, and that was the Epic Game account username. Mind you, Epic Games are the ones that developed the game Fortnite. Okay, and they're a game store. Just think about like Xbox store, the PlayStation store. Well, on PC, we have 3 primary ones, right? You have Steam, which is the big one. Then you have GOG or GOG Galaxy, all right, which stands for Good Old Games, and they do, DRM free stuff. And then Epic Games. All right, Epic Games is mostly known for fucking giving free games away because nobody wants to use their shit. Those are the big ones. There's other ones that nobody wants to use, like the Ubisoft launcher or the EA launcher. There's things that they don't want to use. But the big one is Steam, and probably the second biggest one is Epic, and then the third one is really the GOG launcher, right? But so it shows you, and mind you, Epic is the one that developed it. So that's, if you want to play Fortnite on the PC, those are all for the PC, the computer, the gaming computers. And if you want to play Fortnite, you have to download Epic Games, all right, the Epic Game Launcher, and then that's how you download it. And it shows you who's buying V-Bucks. So he had a Fortnite account, and right here, it shows his account. This is in the Stein files, and that same nickname. That same username, gamer tag, Littlest Jeff 1. It says, thank you for your purchase of Frenzy from YouTube. Well, this one's from YouTube. He was using the nickname Littlest Jeff 1. It says, now that you completed your purchase, yada, yada, yada. And it was, it was movies, right? It was a movie or something that he was buying. Frenzy HD purchase, and that's what he was buying. Now, whole bunch of information. Did I get the other one? Right here. So this is the 2025 wrapped off of his account, right? It's 2025, mind you. He'd been. When did he allegedly? Let's see. All right. Lord willing, it's still recording. I know sometimes it cuts my eye off. 2019. Why did he play 10 hours, 74 matches, 7 wins, and 132 kills in 2025 on Littlest Jeff 1s? Okay? That doesn't make no sense. Okay? Doesn't make no sense. It's also funny that the Simpsons game, that's Fortnite The Simpsons showing you. And there's a whole bunch of Illuministic shit going on with that as well. But, so that's his Wrapped. All right, that's like your Spotify end of the year or YouTube review, year in review. Or they do it for Steam as well. They do, a lot of places do it. And it show you what he was doing. Right? One of those things was Fortnite. So, if you died in 2019, how are you playing in 2025? Right? Now, this guy said here, what's crazy, this is from Reddit, said what's crazy is his username. That player stopped playing when Stein got arrested. Then, like after a month after he committed the thing, he started using the account again and buying stuff, and it's located in Israel. It's totally him. All right, that's what it says. It's totally him, and I agree. It's totally him. All right, now, boom, this came out. It says, new breaking news, the official Fortnite status account got community noted saying that the Stein explanation doesn't hold true when given the facts. Now, Fortnite came out. The people that made the fucking game came out on X and said, hey, official Fortnite here. This was a ruse by a Fortnite player. A few days ago, an existing Fortnite account owner changed their username from something totally unrelated to Littlest Jeff 1, following the revelation of Littlest Jeff 1 as a name on YouTube. These Fortnite trackers, blah, 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 show more. Readers added context. It said, this explanation does not hold true when reviewing the Fortnite.gg 2025 Wrapped, showing that the username tied to the games played in 2025, the UID, the user identification, right, was consistent in 2025. See the alleged Stein name, same name listed in the Wrapped. See the player name with a recent name change, previous name in Wrapped. So in Wrapped, if you had a name change, it would show up. Mind you, it didn't say Littlest Jeff and other whatever. It doesn't say anywhere else that his name changed. It stayed consistent. So, bullshit. Now, I didn't screenshot anything else, but on that, on this post, all right, from, I think it was on Threads, but they reposted it from X. They were talking about how, or no, it was on the conspiracy Reddit. They basically said, as soon as they, what's the word? I don't want to say attacked, or basically, soon as they attacked that idea, people said, oh, soon as they came out, that's what it was, address it. As soon as they tried to address it in damage control, they were like, I already knew, because if it was fake, they would have just let it blow over. If it was fake, they would have blown over, they wouldn't have said anything, oh, whatever. But the fact that just a day or so after, they're like, nope, that doesn't happen. This is fake, blah, 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 blah. And then on top of that, they got noted and were saying like, oh, no, you guys are lying. So it came out that Fortnite is directly lying about this account. This motherfucker. And then on top of that, there's new news. You can go and look this up. There's new news that shows that the official date of death for Epstein, all right, is 1 day before he was found dead. Whole thing stinks, man. Whole thing stink. This is Luke 8:17. We're going to hit off 3 scriptures here and close it. All right, but I think it's immaculate how much is getting revealed through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay? Luke 8:17 reads, for nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. This guy tried to go and hide his death. This guy's alive. And in Israel. And now photos are showing this guy with long hair and a beard that looks just like him, but with longer hair walking around. And there's a whole bunch of information. All right? And mind you, you can go ahead and you can say these are conspiracy theories, right? Because if we know anything now in 2026, conspiracy theories are just bullshit. They're never true. I'm banning a lot of y'all from ever believing in conspiracy theories. I'm being facetious. But, I say that from time to time. I joke with that. I say, I'm going to ban y'all from even believing in conspiracy. Because you don't get to believe them. You don't. We've been saying this shit for how long? How long? And before that, the apostles for how long? And no, you didn't believe it. You didn't believe it. Now it's an official document. You decided to believe it. Now, people are like, wait, so the whole time it was real that they're eating babies and they're doing satanic rituals and that the government and elites are all in on it? What? Yes. But you don't get to believe that because you called us crazy, you called us bugged out, you said we were insane. Why would the government do that? Why does the government have any reason to hurt its people? It doesn't have a reason not to. It has all the reason to. Ill-gotten gains, greed, control, power, right? That's just how it is. But you don't get to believe it. And a lot of y'all are still going to do the same shit and be like, oh yeah, the Epstein files are real, but like that other thing, that's a conspiracy theory. And more as we go on, it's going to show you that the things that the prophets were talking about, all right, are just going to be proved more and more real, okay? That's the whole part of being a prophet, is prophesying, all right? Saying things, what is going to happen before it's going to happen. And how do we know what's going to happen? Through Yahweh Shem Yahushai, okay? His scriptures say things are going to be revealed, all right? The tongues of these devils are going to be falling upon themselves. All right, all these things are there. So if the Lord said it, we know it's true. Okay? So, but you're just now getting to the point where you say, whoa, it was real? No shit, Sherlock. If you would have just looked into it before the government told you what to believe, because now they're saying, yep, it's true. Now you can go ahead and believe it. No, you have to be told what to do. You have to be told when and where. I don't know if a hamburger has meat in it. The government. The hamburger has meat in it. I guess hamburgers have meat in them. You know, I don't. Before they told me, I didn't really know if they did or not. Dumb, man. You can't think. You can't do your own thinking. You have to wait for the government to tell you if it's. Well, I can't. I don't believe anything until it's proven. You know, I don't believe anything until it's proven. I can actually see it physically. I don't walk by just faith. I walk by sight. You know, the opposite of what the scriptures tell you to do. All right, for we walk by faith, not by sight. They walk by sight, not by faith. They say, "Oh, I'm not." The saying, "I see it." You need to see it to believe it. I'm gonna need to see it to believe it. If you have to see it to believe it, there's not a lot of things you're gonna believe. All right. Do you believe in consciousness? Well, how do you see it? You can't really see consciousness. And if you look it up, science cannot prove consciousness. It's just a thing that happens. They can't prove that it really exists or not. They know we're alive, but they can't prove that we are in a state conscious. Explain that. Shouldn't they be able to do it? Because we're obviously conscious? They can't prove it. Because you can't prove everything. Okay? You can't see wind physically, but you can see its effects on other objects. Okay? It's the same way with the Lord. You can't see the Lord physically, but you can see his actions. Okay? You can see his effects on people, places, objects, the earth. So, but these people, they need to be able to have it written down and expressly told to them. They need to see it to believe it, and they can't rely off of faith. Okay? Or deducement. All right, being able to deduce one thing. All right, they're the type that say, this guy's hunched over with his asshole over their dinner, and they say, hey, that guy's about to shit on your plate. No, he's not. All right, he hasn't shit. Where's the shit? He hasn't done it yet, but he's about to. That's just a conspiracy theory. His asshole's right there. It's over your plate. He's about to shit. He's hunched down. He's squatting. He's gonna shit. He's not gonna shit. He's not going to. And then guess what? Once that turd comes out and he's shit, they're so, oh, huh. There was nothing that told me that he was gonna shit. You guys just got lucky. Like, no. Everybody in their right mind could have told you that guy his asshole was hunched over your goddamn plate about to shit on your dinner. But you just couldn't see it. And then when it happened, you said, huh. So the guy that said he was going to shit, I guess in a way he was right. But, it could have just been a coincidence or no. See, they never want to really, they don't ever want to give into that. Okay? And that's what happens when you don't, you're really not an intellectual. All right, that's what happens when you're not an intellectual. And none of these people are intellectuals. They're dumb as shit. They're all NPCs, as these kids say nowadays. And if you're not one who plays games, a PC is a player character. That's the person that you control. They're like the main character, and everybody else is an NPC, a non-player character. And they don't really mean anything, right? If they die, of course it might, the story's like, oh, damn. But you're the main character, right? Your actions actually mean something. They're just background. All right, they're just NPCs. All right, they do whatever the game tells them to do. Okay. Meanwhile, you are controlling your actions. They're doing what the game tells them to do. They're well, I don't know. We just stand here and open up our shop every single day at the same time, and oh, I don't know anything about that. Not looking into information, not curious, not scholarly. All right, none of that. Okay. So that's these people of this world for you. They're the most plainest version of goy, all right, which is cattle. The purest version of goy, cattle. And that's why they're called that, because you can lead cattle to a slaughter, okay? And they're just, oh no, that didn't happen. Look, I don't have time to get involved in all that. I gotta go to work, right? All right, okay. This is Matthew 10:26. It says, fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light, and what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops. And this is a similar version of, what is spoken in secret shall be shouted from rooftops. You can go and look that one up. There's a lot of scriptures that are similar to that. But yeah, man, nothing covered that shall not be revealed. And it's being revealed, all right? Anything that they whispered or hidden or did behind closed doors, All those things are being shouted from rooftops. And there's still some people out there that are not going to believe it. There's still some people like, oh, no, they're not eating babies. They're not doing... There was literally one of the Epstein files. I don't check them all that often. Most of the time I see it's from Threads. I've gone there a couple times. Like, most of the time I went there, I looked... for that one time I did that lesson on it. I went there and searched some things up, dealing with the Transformers and whatnot. But I don't go there a lot. Most of the time I see it's from Threads. And there's a lot of information. One of them was talking about... It said something... I don't know which one I prefer, cream cheese or baby. I don't know how I would compare cream cheese to baby. The fuck kind of how are you going to write that one off? What could that possibly be? I don't know how I would compare baby to cream cheese. What? Why are you comparing a baby to food? What's the point? Or the 70 pounds of jerky that Epstein routinely ate. Right? Anyway, man, just these people. Just go along. Just keep on going along to get along with the society. Just keep on going. All right, keep on staying in line. All right, the slaughterhouse is to the left. Wouldn't want you to wander off to the right somewhere. Right? Keep going to the slaughterhouse. No, it's fine. It's fine. There was an image somewhere. I don't know if it was a Far Side comic. And it was like it was in the same style. When it said it's a slaughterhouse. It said, I don't believe in conspiracy theories. Okay? I don't believe in conspiracy theories. Let me go and see. Should be a cow. See if I can find it. Here it is. This is the one. I'm actually save it. You see here, and it shows a bull, right, on the top left with a, showing the cuts of a cow, and to the right it shows a meat packer. And then you see the cow at the bottom saying, I see old Mr. Conspiracy Theory is at it again. That's the one. All right, that's the one. And, that's how these people are. Oh, I see the conspiracy theories are at it again. Meanwhile, it's some real stuff that's going on. Right? But whatever you say. And then I want to get this Proverbs 12 and 19 because, the whole Fortnite getting noted is crazy. Right? Them addressing it shows you that there was an issue with it. They needed to nip that in the bud. Right? Hilarious. So Proverbs 12 and 19, it says, the lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. And it was only before a moment. It was what? A day or so? Like, not even a day before they're like, that's a lie. And they showed you the difference, and I didn't have it, so slack you for that. If I didn't, save it, but I'm sure there's some way you could find it if you found the post. If you go and look her up, or that person that had that, I'm sure you could go and find it. Where were we? Here, oh no, here it was. Yeah, if you could find this post by Autism Capital, it shows you with a player with a difference between what Steins looked like in Wrapped and then what a Wrapped looks like if the name was actually changed. So that was but for a moment before it got noted. Just as the scriptures say, Proverbs 12 and 19, the lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. It's just hilarious to me, man, how much these people... the Esau's kingdom's going down fucking quick, man. It is going quick. All right? This ain't burning like wood. This is burning like newspaper. Whoosh. All right? Quick. If you ever lit up like newspaper, light up a grill so you can throw it in. And newspaper, once it gets going, it starts burning pretty quick. You got to put that in there quick because once it catches, it starts getting fat. It starts burning fat. It's not like a log that burns slowly. Thin paper, real quick, man. And Esau's kingdom's going down fucking fast, man. We're out of here soon. All right, Lord willing. All right, it's looking good for the next, couple years. All right. Hell, by the end of 2026, half the year, or early 2027, I'd be expecting, some type of chip rollout. Okay, it's gradual. All right, some people say, oh, it's going, and it is going a little slow, but you got to realize that we don't have an exact date. Could we be here? And the apostles have talked about, the brothers, could we be here for another 10 years? Sure, we could be. We're not Yahweh Shem Shai. We don't know. Is it looking like we're going to be here another 10 years? No. All right, we're hopeful that we're not. But they roll out things slowly. It's all about gradualism with Esau. All right, just this year, they made it now, just a couple days ago, I believe. Now it is mandatory, all right, to have the real ID for flights. And if not, you will be held, and you have to pay $40 and do a bunch of other stuff. Before then, I think it was either a real ID or something regarded with your passport. Now you have to have both. And that real ID is just it's gonna get to a point where you have to have that for everywhere. And like the apostles say, the first switch is gonna happen. The digital currency is gonna roll out, and it's gonna be an app. Okay, and that's not the mark. We're all gonna use it. Okay, but it's going to be a centralized currency, a CBDC, a central bank digital currency, that is the only way we're going to be able to send and receive money. Okay, and it's all going to be through that. And there's not going to be, you have Capital One, you have Chase, you have Amex. It's not going to be any of that. You're going to have, Digidollar or whatever the fuck they call the program, right? Just making something up. They're going to call it something that sounds more professional. I doubt it's going to be Digidollar, right? They really have, in Jamaica it was Jamdex, all right? So, who knows what they're going to call it. But they're going to do that. They're going to have that. You're going to use that. And then eventually they're going to say it's insecure or something wrong, or they're going to roll out a hoax, all right, a false flag event where people are getting their money stolen. There's some type of insecurity, and the more secure way will be to, get this implant. And then that's going to be optional, all right, on getting the chip for a while. And that's become mandatory, all right, and anybody that doesn't get it, all right, you're going to be taken down, and if you don't have it, you're going to be taken down. You're going to decide if you're going to get that chip or not. And if not, you will, air quotation, suffer for it, right? But Yahweh Shem Shai is going to keep you safe if you're an Israelite of the elect, okay? But that's just how it's going to go, man. That's just how it's going to go. And it's all about gradualism, but they got to roll it out slowly, piece by piece. If you do it too fast, the people will catch on. They'll say, whoa, why are we doing all this and this at the same time? Now, they got 1 year, do this, couple little things else throughout the year, let the next year go. Do other things. Don't focus too much on that. Do some other things, right? Let some of these things happen. Do some things with the war. Plant some other wicked seeds and evil deeds, all right? And then, try to plant them here, there, here and there, a little sparse, spread them out. Because if you do it all at once, it's going to be, hold up, wait up, look. Because that's how that's the patterns that the conspiracy theories, quote unquote, conspiracy theorists are looking for. All right, scholars are looking for. Okay, the people that actually care, that's what they're looking for. The only time the masses catch on is when everything's big at once, and they're like, hold up, like when they really flubbed and fucked up the small hat situation with Kanye. Everybody looked upon that. That was one of the biggest cases of their tongue falling upon themselves, because the way they handled that was fucking horrible. Yahweh Shem Shai really revealed them on that. A lot of people were like, wait, really? And it revealed I guess the Jewish people do control everything, right? And now, ever since then, they come out and say it now. All right, it's not a harmful thing to say it. I think that the small hatters, the 1948ers, were like, for damage control, they're like, okay, admit that we control everything, but let it go from there. Because before you couldn't even talk about it. Now they allow it to be talked about. Okay, we do control all the record labels, yes, but that doesn't mean anything, right? They had to break you off a piece to chew on, or else it would make them look worse than they were. So keeping the masses appealed. So they're like, okay, well they do. So they're just successful. Well, we nipped that in the bud and moved on from there. All right, moved on from there. So you gotta watch, gotta keep watching. That's what we are, watchmen for Israel. All right, essentially, as the scriptures say. And we're watching for prophecy, and part of this prophecy is these these Edomites, fucking losing it. So, anyway, but that's all I got. That's all I gotta say about that. All right, to quote Forrest Gump. That's all I gotta say about that. so I'm not going to keep on rambling on. But yeah, man, Proverbs 12 and 19 again. The lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Let's go and get that real quick. Let's get it in the good news. It says, a lie has a short life, but truth lives on forever. Easy to read version. Lies last only a moment, but the truth lasts forever. Bible in basic English. True lips are certain forever, but a false tongue is only for a minute. So there you go. Enjoy your minute. Enjoy your minute, Esau. So that's where we're going to close out. Lord willing, was edifying. Again, all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Dash. Shalom, you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring. Keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Keep watching until the next one, Lord willing. Shalom.